Hey everyone, and welcome. So, you ever find yourself standing in front of a bakery case, just totally mesmerized, but also completely overwhelmed? Well, today we're going to turn that moment of panic into your own personal superpower. Let's dive in and figure out how to read the delicious story every single pastry is trying to tell us. You know this scene, right? Rows and rows of glistening tartlets, these colorful little cakes, rich chocolatey squares. It's just this symphony of sugar and art. I call it the delicious dilemma. There are so many options, and you feel all this pressure to pick the perfect one. It's a classic case of choice paralysis. Exactly. Where do you even begin? Your eyes are just darting all over the place, from the fruit tarts to the tiramisu to those super glossy mousses. But what if I told you there's a simple visual method to not just choose, but to actually appreciate what you're looking at? So here's the secret. It isn't about making one giant stressful choice. It's about approaching this like you're in an art gallery and just appreciating each pastry as its own little masterpiece. Okay, so the first thing we got to do is organize the chaos. We can start looking for patterns, shapes, styles, key ingredients. Once we start sorting them into categories, we can start to understand the story each one is telling. And we're going to start with an absolute classic, the tartlet. These are a great place to begin because their structure is just so clear, so iconic. It's all about that perfect crust, right? It's this little edible vessel just waiting to hold something amazing. And even within just this one family of pastries, look at the variety. I mean, just look closely. You've got a nutty, crumbly top on one, a really delicate dusting of powdered sugar on another, and then there's that vibrant yellow-green one with a perfect cloud of cream on top. And this is a perfect example of how the bakery itself gives us clues. See that little label? It's doing more than just giving us a price. It's giving this pastry an identity. We're not just looking at a yellow tart, we're looking at a tarteletta limon. And boom, with that name, all the visual cues just snap into focus. That bright, almost electric color just screams citrus, doesn't it? And that perfect dollop of whipped cream on top, well, that's not just decoration. It's signaling a balance to all that tartness. You can practically taste the zesty filling just by looking at it. All right, let's wander over to the next wing of our little pastry gallery and see the slices. Now here, the focus totally shifts. We're moving away from those round, self-contained objects to these rectangular forms that really celebrate layers and what's on the inside. And right away, you can see two completely different philosophies at work. On one side, you have these precise, almost architectural layers of a tiramisu. And on the other, you have this more rustic, beautifully chaotic brownie just swirled with fruit. One is all about order. The other is about pure, joyful abandon. Okay, let's zoom in on the tiramisu. The label confirms it, pastel tiramisu. But forget the label for a second. What are your eyes telling you? Notice those super sharp, clean lines between the layers. What do you think that suggests about its texture? This is a fantastic way to visually deconstruct a pastry. You see those distinct horizontal stripes, that high contrast between the pale cream and the dark coffee-soaked cake, and that fine dusting of cocoa on top, that hints at a little touch of bitterness to cut the sweetness. And those precise cuts, they tell you this thing is soft, it's delicate, and it's been expertly crafted. Okay, now look over at its neighbor, the chocolate cake with forest fruits. The whole visual language is completely different. You've got that glossy, almost jammy shine from the berries, right up against the matte, deep brown of the chocolate. It just looks rich and dense and so intense. And for our final category, we have what I like to call the jewels of the pastry case. These are the small, perfectly formed individual desserts. Each one is designed to be a complete, singular experience. I mean, just look at the precision here. Those glossy finishes, the vibrant, saturated colors, that bright orange, the deep pink, the rich chocolate. They're like little sculptures, They're crafted to deliver maximum impact in just a few perfect bites. And all this brings us to a really key idea from the art world: composition. In the world of pastry, this means that absolutely nothing is left to chance. Every single garnish, whether it's one berry or a tiny little sprinkle of nuts, it's placed there with absolute intention to create balance and visual appeal. Just look at this piece. Your eye is immediately drawn to that single, perfect raspberry. It's sitting right on top of a glossy, dark chocolate swirl. Its vibrant red color and its bumpy texture provide this stunning contrast, and it becomes the focal point for the whole dessert. It's not just a garnish, it's the star of the show. So, as we pull back, it becomes really clear that a great bakery isn't just selling food. It's curating a whole visual experience. And now you have the tools to read their language. And it all kind of boils down to three core principles. First up, color. It is the loudest signal in the entire case. Bright reds and pinks suggest fruit. Deep browns are going to promise you chocolate or coffee. Those pale yellows and greens hint at citrus or maybe pistachio. Color sets your expectation right away. Next, you've got texture. Is it glossy and smooth like a mirror glaze? Or is it powdery and matte from a dusting of cocoa? Maybe it's crumbly and rustic like a nut topping. Whatever that visible texture is, it's a preview of the mouthfeel that's coming. And finally, form. The shape itself tells a story. You've got the classic, open-faced round tart, the neat architectural square slice, the elegant, domed individual portion. Each form is chosen specifically to best showcase that pastry's character. You know, the Roman gourmand Apicius said it something like 2,000 years ago, the first bite is with the eye. And that is the fundamental truth of great food. The visual delight is where the whole experience begins, long before it ever touches your lips. So let's go all the way back to where we started. But this view, it's not so overwhelming anymore, is it? Now it's a landscape of opportunity. You can scan this case and deconstruct what you see. You're not just a customer anymore, you're a curator, and you're making an informed choice because you truly appreciate the craft. With all that in mind, take one last look. Knowing what you know now about color, texture, and form, what's your first choice?